Now, live from the Patriot Detroit Radio Complex, this is the John McCulloch Show.
For Democrats like myself, if we had that kind of rot within one of our critical organizations, if in fact the playing field was tilted, and again, we've got to wait for the book to come out and read all of the allegations, Democrats like myself have got to take that very, very seriously. It looks like a serious problem. That does not in any way, shape, or form relate to the Russian attack on our election system.
I know, but
the question of whether the Trump administration was involved.
I get it. We've pivoted to this, but do you think that the campaign, the primary, was rigged against Bernie Sanders?
Well, again, I've read exactly one Politico article on this. If Donna Brazil's accusations are accurate, and I don't have any reason to believe that she would make them up, we've got yet another chapter in the Democratic self-reckoning to do. No question about that.
Now, here's John.
Welcome into an Open Mouth Friday edition of the McCulloch Show here on FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot. Glad you could join us for the fastest hour in local Detroit talk radio, where your host continues serving his life sentence in reality. Please be advised that here all lives matter. There is no political correctness. There are no safe zones for the snowflakes, and if you can be triggered, count on it here. This is Open Mouth Friday, which means that anything and everything that's on your mind within reason, unless you've been banned from the show for life, and gee, there's only one person who has, so the rest of you are free to call. You can call right now at 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. And voice your opinions or your objections, your dissatisfactions, your satisfactions, or just a story that you want to tell that you think might be interesting to the rest of the audience. This is your program. You pick the subject matter. I'll steer a couple of things in along the way. You can also use the text feature on your mobile phone. If you've got the app, we had somebody download the app last night and was surprised that, it actually does work. You can actually text John McCulloch, and it's pretty easy to do. Just search your phone's app store for WDTK. When it pops up, download it, install it, and do the usual things. You'll get the great shows from all the Salem hosts. You'll get all kinds of podcasts, and you'll get the McCulloch Minutes. Doesn't take up much room on your smartphone. It's free. And if you scroll down, you'll come to a spot that says Text John McCulloch. And what that does is send that into the screen right here in my studio in real time. They come in really fast, and then I comment on them or don't as I see fit. But I do read every text that I get. Our telephone number, 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. And we're going to get things started after I bring up one or two quick things. Bear with me. In fact, I'll just bring up one. Now I'm going to bring up two. Did you know that this tax plan, this so-called tax cut, whatever you want to call it, from the Republicans, is not retroactive? If they do manage to get it passed, it won't take effect until next year. As crummy as it is, why bother? I say let it go. Let it die. It's crappy anyway. It's not a Republican plan. It's a Democrat light plan. And it takes into consideration all the class warfare and all the other stuff that the Republicans don't have to take. They're doing this to appease Democrats, which they don't have to do. They're in control. Let it go. It's not retroactive, and I figure if it's not retroactive, why bother? Why all the rush? I thought it was retroactive. I was expecting a tax cut this year. Nobody came out and actually said and made a big deal about the fact that it isn't, but it's not. Found that out from the Fox Business Network. And who do these liberal columnists and critics on the air think they are? You talk about nerve. These two male liberal columnists have launched a personal attack against White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders. One said, regarding her appearance, she looks more like a slightly chunky soccer mom who organizes snacks for the kids' games. And Another one said that rather than the fake eyelashes and formal dresses she puts on for news briefings, she seems to be more comfortable in sweats and running shoes. And even if Trump privately wishes he had a supermodel for a press secretary, he's lucky to have her. And then they took exception to her accent. She is from Arkansas, so she does have an accent. Who in the world do they think that you talk about hypocrisy? Can you imagine? It's not going to end, and they're going to keep putting these bow shots across there to keep us off balance so that we quit paying attention to the real hypocrisy, which is going on vis-a-vis the Russia thing, the Hollywood thing, and everything else. It's amazing how they play the game. And we just sit back and take it. Well, I don't, but most Republicans do. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. Let's start things out with John in Detroit on Open Mouth Friday. Hey, John, go ahead.
Hello, John. I'd like to talk about pedophilia. They were talking about it on the Sean Hannity show. And I have the statistics in the Catholic Church of how many priests are actually pedophiles. Guess what it is? It's 0.3%. And they've been talking like it's been like 5% or something like that. It's 0.3%. And I got that off a Canadian television show called The Agenda, and it's a well-connected show. It's they have international guests, so they would have a good accounting of that.
I don't think, John, that the amount of priests was the objection that was at the forefront of the whole thing. I think it was the fact that they covered it up, and they tried to move some priests around before they realized that was the wrong thing to do. And I think that's where the problem was. I think it's been taken care of. It was a dark and dismal time in the Catholic Church, and some priests that I know, very high up priests, one a bishop, were these people were heartbroken over it. But it wasn't really over the number of them; it was over what the church first did to try to cover it up. So yeah, you're right. There aren't that many, and I appreciate you bringing it up. Thanks for the call. And they should not use that in any way to justify the perversity that is Hollywood. I got to say this, so I'm going to. You take a look at what's going on in Hollywood right now and all of these revelations that are coming out. All the pedophilia, which seems to be rampant, plus, we've got 63 so far on the rap sheet. Harassers, molesters, rapists, and pedophiles. You take a section of the country and you take people who have a lot of money, nothing to do, and you pull God out of there, and that's what you're going to wind up with. I'll take Rochester Hills any day of the week. I'll take Grosse Pointe. I'll take Taylor. I'll take any place. Hollywood? No, because God isn't welcome there. And you can see what happens. That's just me talking. It's my opinion, but I believe it. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. Here's John and Novi on the Patriot. Hi, John.
Hi, John. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
At least I think I'm in Novi. I was in doubt there when I talked to your call screener. Maybe it's all the towns I pass through on the way home from work. But anyway, what the heck? Oh. I agree with you. I was going to talk about something else, but I try to, respond to what you just said about taking any of the towns that are part of the suburban Detroit. And I'll also add to this one other thing that if you think things are bad with relatively, you're right. The bad thing about the scandal in the Catholic Church was the cover-up, but isn't that always it? Isn't it always bring down, brought Nixon down? It wasn't the actual crime, plus the fact that the left never hated Nixon. But,
well, no, I agree, but it didn't bring the Catholic Church down, and is not.
No. I'm not saying that, but it's a perception there was an organized cover-up, which there was, and not only Detroit, but across the country, in Boston, or not Boston, was it New York?
Well, there were any number of cities.
Yeah. But,
you're right.
I was going to comment on the tax cut, the so-called tax cut, when not all of these were write-offs for just the wealthiest. I mean, they're taking away the home mortgage interest deduction, or they're limiting it. But they're also cutting back or scaling on the medical expenses. And some years I qualified, and some years I didn't.
Well, that's the same with, I think, just about everybody, including me and my family. But the point is, it doesn't take effect until next year, if, in fact, it gets passed. Why the rush? I don't understand. It makes no sense. It's a political ploy. I say dump the whole thing, and let's get one that looks like a Republican bill. That's just my way of that's just the way I feel about it today when I find out it's not going to be retroactive. John, I thank you for the call. Appreciate you joining us on Open Mouth Friday. Let's get Don in Dearborn in here on the Patriot. Hey, Don, go ahead.
How you doing, John?
Good,
How you
thanks.
doing? I agree with your comments on the religious knuckleheads.
Yeah.
With all the Hillary shenanigans, I talked to a lot of Democrats, and they are super pissed off that they voted for her, and she's doing more damage for the Democratic Party just by talking. And it seems like next year there should be like an overwhelming transfer to the Republican Party. It's just my gut feeling.
I wish it would be, and I think there should be. You look at every front that they're on right now. The Russian collusion, the Uranium One, Hollywood, the press, not a word about the involvement, the fixing of the election for Hillary to take it away from Bernie Sanders. Not one word in the mainstream media. Not a peep. Can you believe that they are that willing to prostitute themselves to this woman and to this party? There isn't a journalist left at ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, or MSNBC. They're just all gone. They don't exist.
Yep.
It's a shameful thing. I wouldn't show my face on TV and claim to be a journalist if I was as bad as they are. But that's just.
Well, thanks for the call.
Hey, thanks for calling, Don. I appreciate you joining us. That they call themselves journalists, newsmen, newswomen. They're pathetic. They are absolutely pathetic. You get more news on this program than you do on a week's worth of George Stephanopoulos. And I'm not a news person. I'm just a talk show host. Or so I think I am. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. It's Open Mouth Friday here on the McCulloch Show. Sure would like to talk to you. Text feature is open and running also if you'd like to get in that way, but I kind of prefer the phone lines. And as I say at the beginning of each Open Mouth Friday, time to call is at the beginning, so then everybody does, and the other people call and get a busy signal, and then they say, oh, shucks, I'm never going to get in. And then I always have to say, well, you can if you do it now. Here on FM 101.5 at AM 1400, The Patriot. Dr. James Gregg is a chiropractor, and he's a very good chiropractor. He's been doing it for over 40 years. He's been very active in something that's known as geriatric pain. That's the kind of pain that you get, and you figure, well, that's just one of those pains I'm going to get because I'm getting older. But age doesn't necessarily cause the pain. It just allows the pains to grow worse. Cause of geriatric pain began, according to Dr. Gregg, and he told me this, and then we started checking back in my records, and sure enough, it was true. The cause began years ago, and it was years before the pain was actually felt. But we were able to pinpoint the actual event where it happened. And due to advancements in technology, such as computerized adjustments and laser-enhanced decompression, Dr. Gregg and his staff can handle your pain, your geriatric pain, if you will, in ways that chiropractic wasn't even talking about years and years ago. So the best thing to do is to go in and talk to them. Give them a call, go in and talk to them, because their staff is ready to work with you financially to make sure it's not going to break the bank. And your first consultation and workup, well, that's absolutely free. That's a $200 value. I wouldn't go to anybody else in the chiropractic field to take care of my pain, and I suggest you try them too and see exactly what I'm talking about, because, well, I strongly, firmly, personally endorse Dr. James Gregg and his staff. 2 locations to serve you, one in Garden City and one in the Troy area. 734-525-8422 for both locations. 734-525-8422 for Dr. James Gregg, and please let him know John McCulloch sent you.
Now, on-time traffic and weather on the Patriot.
I-94 westbound at Schaefer, accident left lane slowing from Mount Elliott. I-696 westbound after Ryan, that accident has cleared. I-696 eastbound between I-75 and Cousins, the left lane closed for construction, and traffic is slowing back to Greenfield. I-96 westbound at Fowlerville Road, that accident has cleared. I-275 northbound after 8 Mile, an accident with cars on the right shoulder and bumper in the right center lane. It's slowing from M14 and I-96 to Jeffries. I-75 southbound before 12 Mile, an accident on the left shoulder. M39, the Southfield northbound ramp to Grand River, closed for construction through November 13th. Your weather forecast tonight, mostly cloudy, low 38. Saturday, rain likely after 3 p.m., mostly cloudy with a high near 52. Saturday night, rain likely mainly before midnight, areas of fog after midnight, otherwise cloudy with the temperature rising to around 53 by 5 a.m. Right now, 49 degrees. I'm Kevin Sanderson on The Patriot, FM 101.5 at AM 1400.
Simple advice: if you want to make a lot of money, what you do is you find somebody who has made a lot of money, you ask them how they did it, and they'll probably tell you. Then you turn around and go do exactly what they did. They've already told you, just do what they did. That's kind of the philosophy of Online Trading Academy, because at Online Trading Academy's permanent campus in Southfield, they actually bring in consultant teachers who are actually traders on the stock market. And they'll take a week or 2 off, and they contract with the Online Trading Academy to come in and teach you how they as professionals make money on the stock market, whether it goes up or down. Find somebody who knows how to do it, find out what they did, and then do it yourself. And that's what Online Trading Academy is all about. I suggest you do what I did. Attend a 3-hour free power trading workshop on investments and trading. You'll find out from professionals how they do it, how they make money, whether the market's going up or going down. I think it's time very well spent, but you got to reserve your spot. And again, please remember, it's free. Call 844-250-8723. That's 844-250-8723. You want to add a little bit to your retirement income? You want to just get rid of, be your own boss? There's all kinds of reasons people go, but the ones that do go, well, we'll let them tell you, because they will. 844-250-8723, or go to the John McCulloch page at patriotdetroit.com, and the number is right there. Online Trading Academy, 844-250-8723.
The John McCulloch Show is brought to you in part by Cruise Hearing Aid Services.
Not much of a tweet type person, not much of a Twitter person, but Bo Bergdahl's attorney tweeted out about President Trump's tweet about he should be in jail, and he's very disappointed at the light sentence of, Bo Bergdahl's been let go. There'll be no jail time. And his attorney said, every American is offended. And he was referring to Donald Trump's tweet. No, sir, every American is offended that your client isn't going to jail for desertion. That's what we're offended about. And I would encourage anybody who's active on Twitter to go ahead and let him know that. Because he insulted me. He included me in that group of people who are offended because Donald Trump tweeted what he did. And I'm not. I applaud Donald Trump for doing what he did. Here's Ryan in Ypsilanti on Open Mouth Friday. Hi, Ryan.
Hi there. Good to know I'm not on the permanent ban list.
Peace and blessings upon you there. So I remember, I think it was last week, I heard you mention that you don't like the Department of Education. And that got me thinking about something. So I want your thoughts on an idea that I have, because I'm a teacher, and so I'm a math teacher, and obviously there's a whole, Common Core. We got all this curriculum from math class, right? So I figure, what if we gave curriculum to physical education? And here's an idea. What if we had, during high school, they taught everybody basic self-defense techniques, and maybe even basic gun safety. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a while because, there's a lot of people that don't ever want their children to handle guns and will keep them from doing so until they're 18 years old, and then they can make their own mind up. There's a lot of people who don't believe in the basic self-defense techniques and wouldn't want their kids to be taught that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Gun safety makes more sense to me than the self-defense.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see what other listeners think if they feel strongly one way or the other. For me and my wife both are really, really, not big on guns sort of people. But I'm just wondering if maybe this is something that liberals and conservatives would be able to, compromise about, So, we'll see.
Yeah, it might be. And by the way, I'm not against education. I'm against the Department of Education.
Right. And so hopefully as I continue to listen, you'll probably mention reasons why. So. Well,
I'll give you the biggest reason. Take a look at where our standing was in the world as far as the educational level of our children when the Department of Education was formed under Richard Nixon. And take a look at where we are now. And that tells pretty much the whole story. Do that, Ryan, for me, and then we'll talk again. Appreciate the call. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. In case you're just tuning in and expecting to be hearing something else, we've started early. We're winding down the Catholic High School Football League season, but we're still starting early at 5:30 for another few weeks. I think maybe a couple weeks. I bet Tiffany doesn't know. I knew that. Nobody tells us anything. But we'll be sure and let you know. But for now, we're going to be starting at 5:30 to make room for Catholic High School football pregame, which is coming up at 6:30. So the time to call on Open Mouth Fridays right now. Here's Eddie in Detroit on the Patriot. Hi, Eddie.
Hey, sir. Good evening. Apparently now it's optional whether or not you stand your post at an FOB during combat. You can just walk off because there's absolutely no crime involved at all. You can just do what you feel like now.
Yeah, even if your buddies get shot while out looking for you.
That's okay. Well,
yeah.
You're emotionally traumatized by deserting. That's apparently the judge's view. Is he already paid enough because he suffered. This is unbelievable, John. I just, you try to stay optimistic, but this PC crap now has invaded our military justice system. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that this country can stand too much more of this. You have a great night, sir. Love your show.
You do the same, Eddie, and I do appreciate the call, as usual. Next up is Todd on the road here on the Patriot.
Hey, good evening. Boy, I'd like to comment on the last caller because he was absolutely pretty damn close to saying the truth. But somebody else said something about Stephanopoulos, and that's the one thing that people got to understand of how Obama did. The only thing he did in his whole tenure in 8 years, that's the smartest thing he ever did. He saw Clinton had Stephanopoulos as his press secretary, so he went out and hired married people, i.e. people from a TV station, that because women don't have to use their married last names anymore, they put one in the White House and they leave the other one on TV, and that way they can call the White House every day and say, we're not going to cover this like this. We're going to smoke and mirror this. We're not going to bring that up, and that's what happens. Every morning at his briefing, we know he didn't do his intelligence briefing, but that was the only part of his briefing that he did every day. Make sure you snuff, because he also did the habit of every month or 4 months, Fox News. You guys are listening to Fox News. You can't listen to Fox News. And that's how he kept it, and that's why we're still living like we are today. Thank you.
Appreciate the call. Thank you, Todd. I'll tell you one thing. It's one of the reasons its Fox News ratings are skyrocketing. But you see, the mainstream media doesn't care because they know that the big advertisers are big lefties. They'll keep advertising there if there's nobody watching. They don't care. And so they feel they've got you over a barrel, but they don't. And you tell me if you agree with Bergdahl's attorney who said this about you. He said every American is offended by President Trump's tweet saying that Bo Bergdahl's sentence was not severe enough. Is that true? Are you offended by that? Are you offended by President Trump's tweet that said he should have been sentenced to some prison time? You're listening to FM 101.5, AM 1400, The Patriot, WDTK, Detroit. Here is, let's see, Michael Livonia. You're next on The Patriot. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that what you keep pushing all this conservatism nonsense in regards to Donald Trump, the worst president this country ever had. He's a pervert. He's unqualified. He's unfit. He hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he won't accomplish a damn thing because he's an idiot.
Well, that's very intelligent, Michael. You want to expand on that? Evidently not, because you have the brain of a rock. It's interesting. He called up, gave his talking points, asked him to expand, and where does he go? Into the ether with the rest of the Wilfs. Amazing. I hope you feel better, Michael. You sure made this audience feel a heck of a lot better. 800-923-90, that they're not one of you. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. It's time now to open up for the 6 o'clock crowd here on Open Mouth Friday, and I'm ready to talk to you. Let's let these calls line up as we continue with Open Mouth Friday here on FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot. When you look at your property insurance policy, do you know what's in there? Are you able to read it and decipher it? If it's a business policy or for your home, are you able to make heads or tails out of all the clauses, all the things that are in there? Things like sewer backup and mold exclusions and these kinds of things? They mean a lot. And the folks at AzerTech Public Adjusters know they mean a lot, and they're happy to help you with your policy. AzerTech Public Adjusters is a team of public adjusters. What a public adjuster does in the state of Michigan, he's licensed by the state of Michigan to get the best settlement possible when you have a property insurance claim at your home or business. That's what they do. But they also work with you before the fact to make sure that your policy is covering what you need to have covered. And it does matter when you talk to a public adjuster and when you call them. especially if you're in a claim situation. But important, really important, is to know what is in your policy, and often more important, what isn't. If things like matching, things that look complicated to you, smoke damage, and how much of it is covered, landlord-tenant relationships, code upgrades, if you know what those are. All these things can be in your policy. You don't know they're there, and you don't know what they mean. Folks at AZERTech are happy to talk to you about it. Just give them a call. The number's easy, and they don't charge for anything until actually a claim is filed and settled. So they're happy to talk to you. They're very generous with their time. 855-CLAIM-55. That's 855-CLAIM-55. 855-CLAIM-55 for AZERTech Public Adjusters, and please let them know John McCulloch sent you.
Now, on-time traffic, news, and weather on the Patriot.
I-94 westbound at Schaefer, an accident in the left lane. It's slowing from Mount Elliott. I-696 eastbound between I-75 and Cousins. The left lane closed for construction, and traffic is slowing from Greenfield. I-275 northbound after 8 Mile, an accident with cars on the right shoulder, a bumper in the right center lane, and traffic is slow from M14 and I-96 the Jeffries. An accident on the right shoulder of the I-75 northbound ramp to 696 eastbound is causing delays there. M39, the Southfield northbound ramp to Grand River, is closed for construction through November 13th. DeQuinder between Square Lake Road and Burning Bush Drive, that's closed for construction through November 15th. The North Line ramp to I-75 northbound is closed for construction through November of 2018. Your weather forecast tonight, mostly cloudy, a low around 38. Saturday, rain likely after 3 p.m., mostly cloudy with a high near 52. Saturday night, rain likely mainly before midnight, areas of fog after midnight. Otherwise cloudy with the temperature rising to around 53 by 5 a.m. Right now, 49 degrees. From the townhall.com newsroom, authorities are offering $5,000 to anyone with information that leads to the arrest and conviction of a gun shop thief in Roseville. The man is wanted for stealing several guns from Peter's Indoor Range and Gun Shop on Gratiot Avenue. Police say the man broke in by cutting a hole into the roof on the morning of October 24th. Surveillance video of the incident shows the man filling bags with weapons. It's still unclear how many firearms were taken. A new type of snow warning will be issued in Michigan starting next year. Starting on January 3rd, 2018, the National Weather Service will issue a highly localized snow squall warning. A snow squall is defined as an intense but limited in duration period of moderate to heavy snowfall. Strong winds and lightning may also accompany this type of snow. Experts say to avoid traveling if this type of snow warning is issued because the chances of highway fatalities are very high. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 at AM 1400.
The John McCulloch Show is brought to you in part by Dr. Richard Klein at the Michigan Head and Neck Institute.
It is Open Mouth Friday, and our phone number is 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. Brought up at the beginning of the show, and I'll bring it up again. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of it, but the Republican tax plan, whatever it is, whatever form it winds up with at the end, is not going to be retroactive. It's not going to take place this year, no matter when it's passed, if it is. It starts in 2018. And I'm sitting here when I read that, and I'm bewildered because why are we in such a hurry to pass something that isn't even going to affect us this year? I don't get it. I say the heck with it. Leave it alone. It's a bad plan. It gets involved in all the class warfare and all the other things the Democrats want. It doesn't do enough for the wealthy. It doesn't do enough for the middle class. It keeps things it shouldn't. It throws out things it shouldn't. It's a bad plan. And we're going to rush like crazy to get it passed? This is not great tax reform, ladies and gentlemen. And it can wait, especially if we're not going to get it this year. Did you know it was not? I mean, do you agree with me? Did you know it wasn't retroactive? Did you know it didn't take effect this year? I sure didn't. And maybe I just missed it, which is possible. But I don't think so. I just don't think they were out front with it. I don't think they wanted everybody to be that aware of it. All right, it's Open Mouth Friday, 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. We've only got a few minutes left in the program. We'll be going off at 6:30 to make room for Catholic High School football pregame. So if you want to get in, now's the time to do it here on the Patriot. Here's Al in Detroit on the Patriot. Hi, Al.
Yeah, John, I got a couple of them for you. Would you ever play into a lottery knowing that you not have a chance to win? You know what the DNC did, letting Hillary Clinton fund the DNC, is fraud in the truest sense. You cannot have people voting thinking that they have a chance of actually winning when you know there is no chance of actually winning. It's a simple fraud. The state lottery has to pay out a certain percentage every year, so that way they're not considered a fraud. Anytime somebody has to vote, and you have a Federal Elections Commission, you have all these people supposed to be watching everything that's going on, and you're finding stuff out a year after the fact. When Donald Trump said the system was rigged, they laughed at him. They said he was crazy. They said he's insane. They said he doesn't want to believe the results of the election. So now that it's turned around and is actually rigged, everything is fine. She helped bail them out. Did she report that to anybody? The IRS, the FE? I mean, what is all these people that's supposed to be monitoring every election actually doing?
That's a good question, Al. I don't know.
And the reason why the tax cut is not going to be retroactive for this year because they took in $5 trillion into the stock market, and Donald Trump doesn't want those people that's booming in their 401ks to not pay any taxes on it this year so they can pay down the debt, John. He's a businessman.
You think that
they'll make a payment on the deficit by February or March of next year, and you'll say, Al said it. Remember today's date is the 3rd.
Got it, Al. I got it. Appreciate the call.
All right, John.
Have yourself a good one. Good night. 800-923-9385. Here's Dan in Melvindale on the Patriot. Hi, Dan.
Hey, John. Hey, on that Birdahl deal, do you recall in World War II, Private Spivak, who was executed because he got mixed up? He didn't go with his outfit, and the Canadians took him until they found out where his outfit was, and they right away put him under arrest. He was tried, and he was executed, and he tried to get Eisenhower to rescind it. Eisenhower said, no way.
Well, there are certain rules that you stick to and certain rules that you don't, and there are certain rules that, it's like Al was pointing out just a minute ago. Where were all these people now that we know that Hillary Clinton rigged the election against Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
And there's FEC, there's all kinds of regulations, and we pay no attention to them. And you go back a few years to where we did pay attention to things, and you have things like, and I don't think his name was Spivak. You're close.
Yeah, they made a movie about him on TV, and Martin Sheen played him. It was a pretty good story about it. He wasn't thinking that he was going to get drafted because he had a mark on his record about I don't know about what. And they drafted him, and he tried to see if they would let him go off. And anyway, they took him in. And I don't know. I think Trump should try and look into something like that. Well, that Birdahl, he should at least get life in prison.
Well, this judge is trying to blame Donald Trump's tweets and everything else for the fact that he sentenced him the way he did.
Oh, is that right?
Well, yeah. The judges, they run things around here.
You got that right.
They are in charge of everything. Yeah. And at least they think they are. And that's going to change, too. Dan, appreciate the call. Thanks for bringing that up. I wish I could remember the name of that, because I can remember the movie. And I remember the story. But Ike was very very, very. I mean, he went and he had his facts. He knew what was going on, and he was very adamant in his decision that the sentence would go forward. Here's Cindy in Hazel Park on the Patriot. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, John. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Wonderful. I would like to play the race card. Hillary Clinton just got by a black Democrat woman. Where is everyone? Why isn't this being announced? And it's just hilarious. That's all. You have a wonderful weekend.
I wait a second.
Okay.
I don't get what you're saying.
You don't? Okay.
I understand Donna Brazile is a black Democrat woman.
Yes, and she just came out and announced to everyone, yes, Hillary just rigged the whole thing. So now she just got. That's
okay, I got that, but what's the significance of it?
It's hilarious that a black person it reverse racism.
Okay, whatever. Thanks for bringing it up.
You're welcome.
Have yourself a great night. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. I don't know what's going on with the phones here, but we'll figure it out and get on with taking more of your calls here on Open Mouth Friday. 800-923-9385 here on FM 101.5 and AM 1400, The Patriot. Dr. Richard Klein is a specially educated neuromuscular dentist with over 30 years' experience managing TMJ and sleep apnea disorders at the Michigan Head and Neck Institute. Dr. Klein is in demand all over the world and in demand all over Michigan and in demand all over the United States for his knowledge of TMJ disorders and sleep apnea. And the interesting thing is, and the thing that's so neat, is that we have him right here in Warren, and he's available. And he does an awful lot of lecturing. He does an awful lot of teaching. He does an awful lot of research himself. He compiles a lot of research from all over the world. And the interesting part about it is, again, that he is available to you and to me here at the Michigan Head and Neck Institute. He maintains a website, and the reason he maintains this website is because the symptoms of both TMJ and obstructive sleep apnea, the TMJ disorder, are elusive, and they mimic other ailments. And so looking at those symptoms and comparing them to symptoms that you might have is a hint. It's a clue that, yeah, maybe that pain or that disorder or that mental feeling that you've been having is caused by TMJ. Why don't you go to Dr. Klein and find out? So if you go to tmjmichigan.com, that's tmjmichigan.com, and check the symptoms there, you see a match. All the information you need to contact Dr. Richard Klein is right there at tmjmichigan.com for the Michigan Head and Neck Institute. And when you get there, please let him know John McCulloch sent you.
Now, on-time traffic and weather on the Patriot.
I-94 westbound at Schaefer, accident left lane slowing from I-75. I-696 eastbound between I-75 and Cousins, the left lane closed for construction, and traffic is slowing from Greenfield. I-275 northbound after 8 Mile, that accident cleared, but still slow traffic back to M14 and I-96, the Jeffries. An accident on the right shoulder of the I-75 northbound ramp to I-696 eastbound has been cleared. And still some heavy traffic on I-75 northbound between M8th and Davison and 12 Mile Road, and slowing too a little bit on I-75 northbound between M59 and Jocelyn Road. Your weather forecast tonight, mostly cloudy, a low around 38. Saturday, rain likely after 3 p.m., mostly cloudy, a high around 52. Saturday night, rain likely mainly before midnight, areas of fog after midnight, otherwise cloudy with the temperature rising to around 53 by 5 a.m., right now 49 degrees. I'm Kevin Sanderson on the Patriot, FM 101.5 at AM 1400.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-978-3908. 800-978-3908. 800-978-3908. Once again, that's 800-978-3908.
The John McCulloch Show is brought to you in part by Online Trading Academy.
FM 101.5, AM 1400, The Patriot. It is Open Mouth Friday, and here's Vernon in Northville on The Patriot. Hey, Vernon.
Yeah, John. That lady who called from Hazel Park talking about reverse racism, whatever she's talking about, is ignorant. I wish you would spend time on educating your callers to be more educated on issues, because you guys spew out and you spill out a bunch of nonsense yourself regards to all this conservatism and Trump support. No, he's an idiot. He's not even qualified for the job. Everybody knows he's not fit for the position. And you keep supporting that stupid fool. I don't understand it, John. Go ahead.
Well, I'm particularly interested in why you don't understand why you can call him a stupid fool when the stock market is where it is, where the jobs market is where it is, where we're turning around, we're coming back, we're not in the doldrums anymore. Companies are coming back to the United States, and, you know, we seem to be getting along pretty darn well. And what you're referring to is a bunch of snowflakes that are going to be out trying to demonstrate tomorrow, and they're going to come out and they're going to find out that that being led by idiots like you is going to get them in real trouble. And it is, because this country is moving in the right direction. Your candidate was the victim of an electoral landslide for a reason. We're sick of the BS. And Vernon, you simply have called up here to prove the BS. You're saying he's unqualified. Unqualified for what? Who's more qualified? What qualifies Hillary Clinton? What qualified Barack Obama? What qualified George Bush, for that matter? Give us a businessman who knows what he's doing, a man who can get up there and make decisions, and when allowed to, can make those decisions be put into action. And you've got a country that is actually moving in the right direction instead of sitting still, playing with itself like a frog on a lily pad. Have a nice night. 800-923-9385. That's 800-923-WDTK. Here's Paul in Newport on the Patriot. Hi, Paul.
And good evening. You know, I figured out something early this morning that I would like to share with you and with your audience, if I may. And here it is. Why hasn't Jeff Sessions brought charges against Hillary and, all the things that have gone on? And I think I figured out a very good reason that could explain this, that could justify why Sessions should be replaced as Attorney General. And here it is. The progressivist attitude was one that goes way back in history, that believes there's a small group of people that knows how everyone else should live, what everyone else should think, how everyone else should order their lives, and they cannot understand why everyone does not fall at their feet to receive the blessings of their collective wisdom. And Hillary, Rosenstein, Obama, Mueller, who's that other prosecutor, Andrew Weissman, that does a lot of these things, are so entrenched in this deep state that they have this attitude, we know better than everybody else. Now, Thomas Jefferson, interestingly enough, complained about this in the early 1800s when he said the rest of the states, if permitted, would be under the domination of Connecticut and Massachusetts, because they had that attitude of, we know better than everyone else, and we're here to tell you. Now, the Dutch in New York called the English that arrived in Connecticut with that attitude Yankees. Now, because of the war between the North and the South, anyone who fought against the South from the North got the name Yankee stuck to them. But the truth of the matter is, not all Northerners are Yankees. There are a lot of Northern people who are libertarian, who are freedom-loving, who support the Constitution and do not support this imperialistic attitude that I am here to tell you. And if you don't listen, shame on you. Now, Obama...
Now, hold on a minute, Paul. There's time constraints that I have to issue right now. But what you have done by pointing out that imperialistic attitude is point out three of the callers who have called tonight who were perfect examples of it. And thank you for calling in and defining what it is that they were. They know better. They know everything. Their way is the right way. Donald Trump is an idiot because he doesn't follow their way. He doesn't ask them for advice, and he never will. We hope.
Hey high school football fans, Jeremy Otto here. Join Chad Bush and me tonight at 6:30 as Madison Heights Madison hosts Riverview Gable Richard in the Catholic League Game of the Week. Richard looks to win a district championship for the first time in program history. That's the Eagles and the Pioneers in the Catholic League Game of the Week tonight at 6:30. Be sure to join us on social media with hashtag CHSLGO. That's hashtag CHSLGO. And right here on FM 101.5, AM 1400, The Patriot.
You know secondhand smoke is a health risk. When you see someone smoking or you smell smoke, you avoid it. Did you know the second leading cause of lung cancer cannot be seen, smelled, or tasted? It's radon gas. It may cause over 600 new lung cancers in Michigan this year. And the only way to know you're safe from radon is to have your home tested. 1 in 8 Michigan homes test positive for dangerous levels of radon gas. Call 1-800-RADON-GAS to learn more about radon and having your home tested. This message sponsored by the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
Make this weekend the weekend you take charge and get your MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code WDTK and you'll get 2 MyPillows for the price of 1. That's 2 MyPillows for the price of 1. Go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code WDTK. You know you want one, get 2. 2 MyPillows for the price of 1. Promo code WDTK, and you too can start sleeping the way nature intended.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Promo code WDTK. Here's Phil in Shelby Township on the Patriot.
Hello, John.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, it's Phil.
I know.
From Shelby Township.
I got that.
And I'm calling to let you know the man's name was Eddie Slovic.
Yes, you're right. Thank you.
And he was executed, and there was a lot of deserters in World War II, and I believe all of them did jail time. But as an ex-service member, I am irate, and I know people that were convicted of trumped-up sexual harassment charges that got worse. That's all I got to say. That Bergdahl should be in jail. He's a deserter, and he's a traitor.
Thanks for your call, Phil.
All right, John.
Have yourself a great night. Tim in Hazel Park, I got 30 seconds.
Yes, I think, just because Donald Trump isn't so eloquent in what he says, I think he's trying to do good for this country, and I'm sick of people dogging him and everything he tries to do to make things better. He has nothing to gain for it. He's got billions of dollars. I'm just sick of it. It's just like...
You know what it is, Tim? It's because he's doing so well that they're getting so frustrated. And they still, these babies still haven't been able to get it through their heads that their little girl lost, or their little crook lost, whatever. Thanks, Tim, for the call. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Thanks to Tiffany Little for engineering and call screening tonight. This program is produced by Steve Dealey. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for calling, and thank you for texting, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned for Catholic High School football pregame. I'm John McCulloch, and until the next time we talk, Monday afternoon at 6, please have as good a weekend as you can.
The John McCulloch Show is sponsored in part by Dr. Richard Klein of Michigan Head and Neck, Greg Chiropractic Life Center, Azer Tech Public Adjusters, Cruz Hearing Aid Centers, and Online Trading Academy. The John McCulloch Show on the new FM 101.5 and AM 1400.
My career is over. I am making a horse's assets of myself.
The Patriot.
This is Michael Medved for Townhall.com. Suburbicon, the prestigious new movie release from director George Clooney, features Matt Damon and Julianne Moore with a screenplay co-written